So this is my birch border, so named because of the silver birch there. And I've been working on this for the last 2 seasons, 2 years really. And it was one of the first borders that I actually set to do properly. Originally, this border was probably half the depth of this. So you can see it's quite deep now, but originally it was probably here, and it just ran in the same shape all the way up there. And I set about changing it. Now, one thing that a lot of new people to gardening are afraid of is moving plants and changing things, and they design it or they put together something that they consider that they like, and they're afraid to just change it, even though sometimes it may not be working. And you should never ever feel that you can't change something. You should always be looking to improve the border. And that's what I do. Now, sometimes you get things right and sometimes you get things wrong. And I'm quite experienced now, and I get things wrong still, always getting things wrong. But I'm never afraid to change. And I'm not afraid to rip out a tree if it needs it, or rip out a shrub if it needs it, to change the look again. So I urge you and encourage you to actually not fear taking out things. If they're not working, they're not working. And it's as simple as that. So don't be afraid to take things out. Things grow again. You're not going to kill them. You can just transplant them or pot them up. And what happened here, and the reason I'm doing this now is because just yesterday I came here and I look at this particular border from above. Where we live in a bungalow, well, an Art Deco bungalow that's classed as a chalet bungalow. So it does actually have, let's show you, a window upstairs. And sometimes when you look from a different view or a different angle, you tend to see things differently. And so did I. I saw this differently from up there. And it come to my attention that a Hylotelephaeum, which is the sedum, which is that sedum there, one of my own called Igor the Giant, just simply a selected seedling that I call that. And I've taken some cuttings of it. Now, I originally had this grass there. This is China Cloa rubra. So that was actually sat where those 3 little sedums are. And from above, I could see it needed a big section of sedum. It needed more than it already had. So I thought, right, I've got some cuttings. I'll set about putting them in. So that's exactly what I've done. So I removed the grass, changed them round. I'd got this Lythrum in. And this is a new to this border anyway, this Lythrum, and it was a couple of foot to the left of itself. And I thought, well, no, it's not working there, and it won't work there. Because I always take into mind the future, and I need to know how it's going to look, and I always do future-proof them. But sometimes you just a little bit of titivation is needed. So again, don't be afraid to move things. I suspect that this border won't be finished yet for a while. In fact, it'll never be finished, to be quite honest, because year in year I will see things that I prefer. Plants will grow, plants will need to be moved. Now, when you are new to this, you should always hold in your mind that class some plants as sacrificial. And by this, I mean plant lots of plants and always assume that 1 or 2 are going to have to be removed. If you want to fill it instantly, then you need to either put lots of the same plant in, or you need to put plants in that you know are short-lived or that you consider sacrificial, as in you will lift it, take it out, put it somewhere else, or put it into a pot. And I do that quite a lot. So as the season turns, I change things. So don't be afraid to move things. Don't be afraid to change things. Now, I've got this here. This is Nicotiana sylvestris that a friend gave me. And to be quite honest, it's not really doing it for me anyway. It's a lovely plant, and I've got it simply for the pollinators. I wish I'd put it in another border down there, but I didn't. I put it here. Now, it's nearing the end of its life. Still quite a few flowers to come up, but it's an annual. So I can get this one again, and I will get it again, but within another 2 or 3 weeks, I will be removing that because it is now spoiling the show of this Miscanthus cheiugensis, which is going to be absolutely stunning. And from the house, this is actually blocking off some of my view, which I don't want. I need it gone. So I will move that, and I won't be afraid to move it. It is an annual, so that's it. Once it's gone, I can't lift it, move it somewhere else. It just simply won't work. I could try and move it somewhere to get it through the season, but you either leave it where it is or you move it and kill it and throw it in the bin. Compost it, do whatever you need to do. So that was a bit of a mistake for me to put it there. And at the time, early on in the spring, it looked a good idea. And I thought, yeah, that'll work. But it's not working, so I'm not afraid to change it. I will rip it out. It will go in favour of the Miscanthus behind it, which is now in its second season. And it sits next to that lovely Euphorbia, which is another one of my own cultivars called Malachi. And it's a real good one. So don't be afraid to move things. Don't be afraid to change. If the border's not working at all, just simply take it all out and start again. If you're not happy with it, sometimes it's better to wait, see what works, see what doesn't work. Some things will work, some things won't work, but don't ever be fearful of taking things out and starting again and moving things. Change is a good thing, and it can help to reinvigorate the border, or it can help to improve the border. So this is quite a nice border because I get to go down the garden here and walk up and see it from different views as well. So I have to be very mindful of this when I'm planting it. I'm getting it right. There's just one or two little changes I've said that I'll need to make. But on the whole, after 2 seasons, I think I'm nearly there with it. A couple more changes it'll take and then it'll be, in my eyes, probably right and perfect. So, to reiterate, don't be afraid to change, don't be afraid to pull things out, don't be afraid to change the shape of the border or the style of the border and the plants that are within it. And don't be afraid to take some out and replace them with other types that you think is more suitable. I do it all the time. See you on the next one. Ta-da.